Peru News Today, all you need to know about Peru. Ricardo Gareca renewed for 3 more years to direct the Peruvian team. It is the news of the day, there is no doubt. Ricardo Gareca renewed for 3 years with the Peruvian team and will continue the process that began in 2015. The Argentine coach gave a press conference today in which he explained the reasons that led him to renew the contract. He was accompanied at the press conference with Néstor Bonillo, physical trainer, and Sergio Santín, technical assistant. As is known, there were some doubts about the decision that would take the Tiger after the World Cup Russia 2018, the internal problems in Videna and the possible departure of Juan Carlos Oblitas. His contract ends at the end of the year, made Gareca think. But a consensus was reached and it stays. I am convinced of the potential that exists in Peru. It has incredible potential and can grow within a favorable environment. We are grateful for the demonstration of support we have received from the people. We have only words of thanks for the support, not only in the last stage that was something spectacular, but since we took over in the national team, we always have all the support. We had the time to think and talk among ourselves. We understand that this is the best. We have a job done. We know the environment. We are very comfortable. We believe and we are convinced that we can improve. There is still a lot to do. More filled us within the possibilities of continuing in Peru. A stage that is perhaps even more complicated than the previous one. We believe that the task is not finished. This is to continue trusting and improving more and more. We have many important challenges. And then the Copa America. The Argentine led Peru in the Copa America 2015. Copa America Centenario 2016, Russia 2018 qualifiers and Russia 2018 World Cup. 4 tournaments in which he did not do badly. He finished 3rd in the first cup, eliminated Brazil from the second, qualified in the playoffs, and the team left a good impression in the World Cup despite not advancing to the round of 16. Why 3 years and not 4 come expected? At a press conference, the Argentine coach told reporters that his contract is for 3 years and not 4. As everyone expected, this has to do with a clause that also existed in the contract that Ricardo Gareca was made in 2015. This clause indicates that the coach's contract is for 3 years and, if the World Cup qualification is achieved, it is renewed automatically by 1 more. With what end up being 4 years. The contract is for 3 years because it depends on the classification to the World Cup. If the classification is not achieved, the cycle is over, explains Gareca. It's true, and it happens with technicians from other countries too. Therefore, we have Ricardo Gareca safely until the last match of the Qatar 2022 qualifiers. And the playoff duels, of course. As it happened in the process to Russia 2018. From then on, it will depend on the position in the table that ends Peru. What does he think about the situation of Oviedo? One of the first questions asked of the Tigre was about the controversial present that Edwin Oviedo is going through. The Argentine said the following. We are not committed. We are committed to the FPF and the country. Not to any particular person. We thank Edwin Oviedo, Juan Carlos Oblitas and the board for trusting us again. And our commitment is to the people, Gareca said. He added, we want all the problems to be solved. Peru has incredible potential and in a good environment it will be able to develop better. But what does it mean for the FPF to have the Tiger until the end of the next qualifiers and an extra year if we qualify Qatar 2022. For the federation, the contract is painted as a round business. According to Luis Carrillo, director of the digital sports channel Live Media and advisor of the Diploma of Studies in Sports Management of the PUCP, the FPF is overflowing with sponsorships. With the number of people in stadiums, what won the qualifying team and their participation in the World Cup, which left US $8 million, he notes. For his part, Raul Rosales, director of the career of sports management at the UPC, agrees on the tranquility that he transmits to the fans, and what it will mean in ticket sales and television rights. The attendance at the stadiums, the television, the sponsors will see a certain stability that is important for any long-term sponsorship, he says. But the expert also recalls that while the ecstasy of advertisers reached its peak in the months before Russia 2018, the business is now different. There should not be any significant change in the auspices. But the challenge of the FPF is to maintain them for the next 4 years. Since it is not the same to negotiate with and without the World Cup, he says. An image problem. beyond the friendlies scheduled with Germany and Holland. The first exam of the FPF is the Copa America of Brazil, next year. While waiting for the initial whistle, the main task of the FPF, for Rosales, is to solve the internal crisis. You cannot pretend that the institutional problem does not exist. You have to start working from the sports side and give signs of progress, otherwise, sooner or later this image will be weakened, he stresses. On the other hand, Carrillo highlights the management of the local league as a key point. The clubs are broken. The Peruvian team put together a bubble that burst after the match with France. Nobody wants to see local football. The footballing audience has gone down terribly and the clubs do not have sponsors, he observes. For the specialist, the FPF must concentrate its efforts on achieving a more competitive championship. Use resources with this objective, and negotiate a better future for Peruvian soccer. Raul Rosales concludes by saying that the sources of income will be reinforced, or with more elements to negotiate and put on the table. Visit at www.perunewstoday.com. Also follow on Facebook and Twitter.